You guys can see my screen?
Yeah.
So it's actually graph only. How Roger was explaining. I try to represent it something like what I have given is A by B equal to 2, right? And B by C equal to 3. This is what I have given. So um, definitely we need these relations represented in a better data structure form so that I can go through that data structure and get this information and use that information properly. Then I can achieve it. So after seeing this, it's very clear, but how we can store it properly. So what I did is just represent it in a better graph format, something like this. I will have my whatever equation I have, I will take the very first element from that equation, make it as key, and then make another map, which will be like the value of that, and store the double value which is given to me. Something like A is to B is given as 2, right? So I will have a map where my key will be the very first item of the equation. The value will be a map which will have the key as the second item of that equation, and the value of the submap will be the double value of that particular equation, like that, right? So once we have this type of data structure, it will be easy to solve. From the second equation, I get B, C, 3. Now that's not enough, because when I see the queries which we need to solve, we might have some use cases where I need to inverse these ratios. That is also simple. When I'm entering into my map and storing it into better data structure format, I should also store the reverse of it. So the reverse of it will be the 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 denominator will be my key now, and the numerator will be my key of submap, and it will be 1 by 2. Right? From the first equation, I get two values. A by B equal to 2, I get two values, one for key A and another one for the key B. Right? Then I will move ahead. So I will remove this, and then I move ahead to B is to C. So I have another values in this submap, which will be C as to 3. You guys are following?
Yes.
Right? And then from the second equation, what additional key I get is C. And now I will take numerator as my key of my submap. So it will be 1 by 3. Right? Straightforward. So that is what I did here, is preparing this map. I get the 0th element and the first element, which is A and B, and just put into my hash map. And I have this hash map ready at this particular line.
And then while solving these queries, you will just see the key, what is required, first one, and then taking.
Yeah, and
and
then
then
I
going
just
to.
need to traverse. Yeah, I just need to traverse to this hash map now. So I was just trying to show this. Sorry, what happened?
You are traversing to hashmap, or you're traversing to the queries which are required to solve?
Yeah. So now once I get the query, I take the key from the query. So let's say query is AE. I directly check like if the numerator, the first element A and the second element E, both exist in my hash map or not. If not, I will directly return that -1. Right? So I can solve these edge cases. Now talking back to the actual one, like A, C, B, A. For this, I just traverse through the hash map. If it already exists, like there is a key exists A, and in the submap, I have a value for C, I will return the double value. If not, then I will just call this map again. So how I'm solving it is, I start with this problem, which is like A and C. So my start will be A, my end will be C, right? Now I need to go to this hash map. And when I go to this hash map, my start is A, but I don't have an end value here in my submap for A. So I call this hash map again, which will be start is equal to B, because those submaps I am getting. So for each submap, whatever I'm getting, I call the same function again, changing my start value, and end value will remain same. So now I call this hash map again with the start value as B and end value as C. So I directly get a value 3 in the hash map. So in visualization, we are actually doing the same thing what Roger was explaining, is traversing through a graph and figuring out the path. If there is a path exists from A to C, then we are looking for path exists from A to B and B to C.
This is more of a graph approach, because what you're doing is hash is essentially your adjacency list
Yeah.
to traverse
So
the
it is
graph.
just, yeah, the graph approach, but I try to store more and more use cases. And instead of computing at the runtime, I have pre-computed values in there. So I just need to traverse this only.
I just
What
have one
about
question.
A?
Yep.
Sorry, you go ahead.
What happens for when the source is A and the destination is also A?
Yeah, when source is A and destination also A, then what we get is start will be A and end is A. So when I call A and I get this end as A, in my submap I get only B2, right? So my start will change. Now start will change to B, because I get submap as B2, right? But end will still remain the A. So I now get the submap BA12, right?
Yes.
And this will return me 1/2 because it already exists. The previous value I have 2 from the first iteration of this map, right?
Right.
So I just,
Right.
and what I'm doing is computing it 2 into 1/2. So I
Okay.
got the value as 1, right?
Okay. Okay.
So if we have a values like A to B, B to C, and C to D, and we need to find the relation of A to D, then
Yeah.
there are so many values in between. So how we are computing that values?
Yeah. So what actually we are doing is A to D, right? So we are going to, this is our problem statement. Start is A, end is D, right? So A to D is, let's say, X.
Yeah.
We got that data. No, in the A map, in the A submap, we got only one value, which is A to B. So we stored that is 2.0. Now from this, we get submap B2, right? So now start will change to B and our end will still remain D, because ultimate target, we are not changing end every time. Now we go to end submap. So when we go to the submap of B, we get multiple values and we need to traverse each and every value. We get A, which is 1/2. We get C, which is 3. For your use case, you might also have a value which is like for D. Let's say there's no value. We got only C, right? So we get the next iteration, we will have start equal to C and end equal to D, right? And we will get
Yeah.
some value here in the given map for D, like 4. So we will just compute from the first step we have 2, from the second step we have 3, from the fourth step we have 4. So we just need to multiply all 3, because we are started from the very first iteration and we are just going in the depth.
What
Okay,
could we
so
do?
we are multiplying those values where we are like if we are traversing A to D to A as well, then it is not counting. But if we
Yep.
are traversing D to C and C is moving ahead, then we are counting.
Then we are
Something
counting.
like
Yeah. So something which is like we have to take care with that, if we get that value, then only we start multiplication. If it doesn't get it, we try to keep it as -1. If it doesn't get key, we return -1 in our recursion. And once we get the value, then only we start computing. I will share this code. You got the basic logic, right? This data structure is the key. Once we have this data structure, the graph version, the data structure version of graph, then it will be easy to go through it. Any question? Yeah, I think we can move ahead. Ashish?
Yeah, thanks, Sachin. Okay, so we can move to the next question, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the last problem on the hard work. Okay. Mohan, you saying something? Okay. So we have the last problem of the day. Find median from data stream. So this in this problem we are given with a data stream in which we have to add integer whenever we call this add num method, and we have to find the median of this array. So when the number of elements in the array is odd, then we can get the median easily. But whenever the length of the array is even, then we will be having two medians. So the median will be the mean of two middle values. So I guess this part is simple for everyone. So we have to write two functions, and when there is one constructor. So we this find median method will return the median, and the add num will push into the data stream. So I guess the problem description is clear.
Yes.
Any question? Yes, there's some noise coming from something.
I will mute someone.
No, it's okay. It's done.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Ashish.
Yeah, so I guess there is no more questions regarding the problem statement. So anyone who have some approach like how to solve this? Okay, like the first intuition that I got from this problem is we can use a heap, because it should be sorted. Like whenever we are adding something to the array, it should be sorted. So and one more approach is like we can sort the array whenever we need to find a median, and then we can look upon the length. If it's like odd, then we can return just n/2, and else we can return the median. So there can be two intuitions, like one using of heap and one just sorting. Like so, this was my approach that I went for. So when I try, yeah, hello.
Yeah. What do you think? Like with the simple sorting, it will be like order of n log n, right?
Yeah, I tried submitting that, but I got a TLE out of this, so it is not a good solution.
Yeah.
While
Hi. So another solution can be like when we are adding the number, then use binary search to find the correct position for that number there itself, and then put up a pointer in the mid of the array. Put two pointers actually, and then pointers will move either one to the left or one to the right at any addition. So the get median will be O1 and adding will be log n.
We are storing it in linked list then, right? Because we are putting somewhere in the between.
Yes, but then
it will be not order
linked
of
list, then log of n
not
is
order of one. Yeah.
Then log of n will not be possible. Yeah, but why not array?
I mean, how you can store in between in log n? I mean, you need to move other elements forward, right?
I can use vector then. Vector is normalized to have the log n insertion.
Okay. So you will use simple array list and store in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the beauty of the C++ STL. Like we can use C++ STL.
Yep.
Yeah, then it will be good, because when I was thinking simple array list, then sorting itself will take n log n. So I can achieve the find median in order of 1, but I can't achieve the add number in minimum time. So heap seems faster because it is order of 1 for find median and order of log n for insertion, I think, right?
Yeah.
And what about the one which Abhishek you were explaining? It will take how much time for adding the number? Time complexity for adding the number, order of log n?
So adding the number is log n is for finding the position, and then it depends upon what data structure you are using. If you are using vector in STL, it is log n for actually putting the number at place because you have to shift the numbers. If you are using array, then it is order of n. Array in Java, I mean.
Got it. So order of log n plus log n if I use vector.
Order of log n
So,
plus, yeah, vector order of log n plus order of log n. And if you are using array or in Java, then order of log n plus order of n.
Got it.
I'm not very much familiar with C++ STL, so could you just ping me or bring on the group the method name or function name which is used to insert meta index?
So I guess we have this in the solution also.
Yeah.
This thing, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I did in Java. So in I mean, if I use array list, pretty straightforward, always sorted, but it is like order of n log n. So I thought like some better solution might exist in Java if I use Java only. And heap is one I find like a better approach in Java. So what can I explain the heap one? Anyone else worked on the heap solution? Can go ahead.
I like my question to you is like how you will keep track of median in a heap. I think you will explain now.
Yeah. What I was doing is, I mean, I definitely came to approach, but not able to complete the coding. But what I was thinking of is maintaining two heaps. So one which will be taking care of the minimum. I mean, the one will be the max heap. One will be the min heap, and I need to balance both the heaps. So whatever is the top item of both the heap will give me median.
Yeah, can you repeat it, please? Go on.
Yeah, so something like I will tell. So let's say we have number 1, right? For
Okay.
now. So I have a min heap, I have a max heap, and my max heap size can only be greater than 1 for the min heap. Why I'm doing this is because the median can be the middle number, or median can be the sum of two middle number, right?
Yeah.
So my max heap will contain 1 now when I get 1 as input. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is part of my max heap. So when I call find median, I directly pick the item. Now the second item comes, which is like 2. Okay. So I add it to max heap.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I got it.
Right. And now when it is added to max heap, now my max heap size is 2 count greater than the min heap. So I need to call, and I need to move this maximum item to the min heap. So I have 2 heaps now, one which contain 1, one which contain 2. Right?
Yeah.
I pick the top item from both the heaps.
Okay.
And I just get the median now.
Yeah.
Now comes 3. So I start adding from the max heap, because my condition is like my max heap can have one size greater than min heap, but it shouldn't be more than one size greater than min heap. Got the point?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. I think I saw some video also sometime back, something similar problem in Geeks for Geeks. So maybe I can share if I able to find it. I'm not able to get it. But yeah, I will share in these Slack.
The base idea over this problem is you just have to try to maintain the number of numbers on the left side and right hand side of your candidate median elements.
Yeah.
And every time you find an imbalance, you just try to balance the numbers.
Yeah. So always my top need to be the median, right? Both the heaps, should contain that.
Yeah, one more thing, I was checking on the time complexity for insert of STL. According to the documentation, it's still linear. It's not log n.
The heap, I believe its insertion time is log n, right?
No, I'm talking about the vector. You were talking about the vector with log n insertion.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Abhishek can explain, or Ashish, you worked on C++.
Yeah, that's not log n, that's n. I've worked on C++. I know that.
But I was missing something because that would be interesting to understand how they are
Yeah,
inserting the
because it's
log
not
n.
possible to like insert log.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean from Java I can say like because I can insert, but I need to move the other items which are
Yeah.
already there. So that's why it can't be in log n for from in Java array list.
Yeah, even for other which I'm aware of, it's not. It cannot be logged in.
Yeah, I think Sonia and others are asking for the code. I will share that. I haven't did the coding, but I saw one good video which explained this max heap min heap concept of getting the middle value always. So I will share that video.
Yeah, sure. So is there any other approaches like we can discuss or?
One other approach which I read about was using a balanced tree. So essentially, as you said, we are trying to keep the numbers on the left and right hand side same. So we can use a balanced self-balancing tree. And so in that case, your tree in itself will be balanced and your number of nodes on the left and right side will usually be balanced, except that it may be one or two more on the either side because that's the condition of a balanced tree. That like suppose let's take an example of AVL tree. So they have this condition that the number of nodes on the left and right side should not be different by more than one. So in that case, your maximum median will be in the top three nodes, either the root node, the child of the root, or the child of the right. The only modification that you will have to do in that case is keep the number of nodes also as a data point in the tree structure. So that you can directly get the number of nodes on the left side and right side to compute it.
Another approach actually could be like, do you remember quick select? Some of you might have encountered it. We use it in quick sort. We select a pivot and then we try to shift things left or right depending on the value, right? So suppose the question was find the mid element. Forget about the mid plus one, just for simplicity. So we normally select a pivot and we don't care whether the elements towards the left are sorted or not, towards the right is sorted or not. And it's an O of n algorithm, right? Yeah, so if we could do the similar thing, especially if our given array is fixed size, then we can do that. Like, you create, you have the array, you select maybe the first element as pivot, do the same thing. And in general, like it will be of On, except in the worst case, when it is so skewed that, like suppose you are looking for the largest element and it's already sorted array. So you will think first time you are looking at n-1 elements, next time n-2 elements, n-3 and so on. So your time complexity will become O of n square, unfortunately. So there are tricks like, they call it like choose your pivot in a random way, try three random pivots and then choose one of them. That is still not, it is pretty good, but you can still have the same problem in theoretical sense. So what is one special algorithm called is median of median. If you try to search for it, you will find the idea. What they do, they partition the given array in 5 parts. They sort each part, like each sub array they sort. Since the size was 5, sorting is like instantaneous and constant time. So you can't say that, okay, it was a n log n because it was 5 log 5, which is theoretically constant. And from all these, they choose the middle element as the representative for their next choice for pivot, basically. So at every moment, what they are saying, suppose there were 5 elements, you have discarded the first 2 elements. So you will never go in that loop where you are always rejecting just one candidate. You rejected 2 elements from the first candidate, 2 from the second candidate, and so on. So eventually you form a geometric progression. So basically, if you try to do the mathematics, it will lead to O of n median finding algorithm. I think it will not be asked, but it's good to think in that direction because it may give you clues for some other problems. But
Yep.
I just told you because it was interesting.
I'll look for it. Looks interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, probably that is called order statistic tree also, I think. But median of median is what I remember. I did.
We have so many problems for median. This one is something where stream is coming, but we have many problems where we have large amount of already given data, which might, not sure I need to look for, but it might be helpful in there.
Yeah. And there were some other questions on this, right? Like the variation of that. Does anybody want to talk about it, or do we have time? We are over time, but we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So the first one was if the numbers are between 0 and 100, how would you optimize it? So somebody already suggested a solution on our channel, and basically it's again you are creating buckets. You can keep a count because how many buckets are there, and then you have a fixed space, and you can go through each bucket and just find total number, and you can figure out whenever you reach the middle, you just say, hey, this is the median. And what he was more interested was in any question in that, because I think it's pretty straightforward, but ask me if you have any questions on that.
So we are taking the bucket size as 0 to 100 because it's already given, or based on the input we have till now?
They have already told you that the numbers will be between 0 to 100. So if there are 5 zeros in the stream, your count for 0 will be 5. So you know how many zeros you have seen, right? You know how many ones you have seen, and you also know how many total elements. So it's just simple math to figure out, okay, where the middle will lie.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and then there was another one that if 99% of all integers from the stream are between 0 and 100, then so there is still 1%, which could be anything, basically. So how would you optimize it? So I have thought about it, and I know, I guess, but do you guys, someone want to come up with anything? Any approach?
I don't know. Wouldn't it be same? We can ignore those numbers because it's just 1% of numbers, and the remaining, because on each side we need 50% of numbers to get a median. So even if we are ignoring the 1% extreme outliers, it still be the normal way any other approach that we are doing. Right?
Yeah. So two things. If we ignore, then we are ready for some errors. If you are ready for that, then it is fine, because we know that most likely 1% number, that number will not be median, right? That we already know. So it's a good idea that only those median will lie between bucket 0 and 100. That's true. However, for exact calculation, you can create one extra bucket both sides. You know that, okay, those guys are not going to be candidate, but those guys will help you in your calculation of total numbers you actually saw, right? Still, they are useful just for your total calculation.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yes, exactly. just create 2 extra bucket on both sides and use it in a similar fashion. Start from the leftmost and right, and then just do that. Then thing comes up is like how, like, which Puneet you already brought somehow, is if we are ready for some errors, and if we want to do it in a, like, even better time, how do we do that? So for you, the hint is you already know we have tried so many data structure. We are relying on all the numbers. Then at that point of time, your intuition should be, hey, do I know anything about the properties of the numbers? Like, can I do anything about how it was distributed? Like, any statistical analysis we can do on that or not? If we can rely on it, then, like, there are some randomized algorithms which are helpful to give you these answers in a, like, constant time. This is beyond the scope of the, like, our interviews, and also beyond the scope of my knowledge, to be fair. But it's a good way to think about. In general, you can suggest, hey, I would be looking something for this thing, and you are at least showing that, hey, I know where to look for if I need to. There is a, like, system design question, where, like, there are a lot of there is a website, for example, Amazon. People are buying a lot of stuff on that. Find the top K sold items, something like that. How to do that? Like, can we use some hashing mechanism to do that? That kind of stuff. So there is a, like, thing called count min sketch. You can read about it. So that is probabilistic data structure specifically built for that particular, solving that particular top K hitter problem. And again, whenever we use those, we already agree that I am ready for 0.001% error. If we are ready with that, then that data structure exactly suits the purpose. And that's the sole purpose of the randomized data structures. I just wanted to bring it because though we are solving coding questions, but we should think in a, like, broader way also, like how they get used. Any questions?
Seems good.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I just want to suggest to group, like we are posting daily the solution and all. Why don't we keep it to the either the thread where we have the solution posted? Yeah, that will look more clean.
Exactly. Yeah, I had the same idea. Actually, we are learning, so we will do
No
that.
problem.
Yeah. Everybody should start doing that, so people will follow that. And also, like, since we are here and we are, like, out of time, I think one idea would be to have some as a guidance, because we can have interesting questions. We can go over time limit, but, like, hey, like, we can go 5 minutes or 10 minutes over 10, like, easy problem. For medium, maybe 25 minutes. For hard, maybe, because we don't get enough time for the harder questions. I feel that way. But like, we can think about it. Like,
maybe
we can
start
make
from hard.
No, I think easy is good, because you will get into the flow and then you get better also while we come to the, like, we are firing on all cylinders during our harder questions. So it works, I guess.
Let me stop the recording and we can